Welcome to the inside of new Honda Civic Type R. Waited a long time for a Honda Civic Type R. Now it's arrived. It is not short of promise. 306 brake. How do you get 306 horsepower from a 4-cylinder 2-litre engine? You put a turbocharger on it. Which is not very Type R, is it? They usually rev to what, 8,000-9,000 RPM, make their peak power right at the top. Now you've got a motor which revs to 7,000 RPM. So what's it like? Well, as you can tell from the noise, it's not very Type R-ish, but it is fast for a hot hatchback. Honda says this is the most extreme Type R ever, which, given it made the Integra Type R, is a pretty bold claim, but I don't think they necessarily mean the most raw. I think they mean it is the fastest in relation to its peers. And this car has been around the Nurburgring in less than 8 minutes, which is pretty sensational for a front wheel drive hot hatchback. And the fact that it goes around there that quickly is why this car looks like it does. It's all wings, all vents, all spoilers, because it generates genuine downforce, both front and rear. Now, you need to be on a large racetrack like the Slovakia ring we've got here to actually appreciate the benefits of downforce in a road car, particularly a hot hatchback. It can't make loads of downforce. Hot hatchbacks sit too high from the road to get brilliant aero from underneath them. But what you do feel on any racetrack, or in fact any road where this car is pretty capable, is just how quick, how grippy the Civic is. Honda's done some trick stuff with the suspension like Renault, Ford and Vauxhall Opel have done in the past, where they use a double axis strut at the front to reduce torque steer, and it really does work. There is not a lot of torque steer through this wheel. There isn't a great deal of feel either. Gearbox is pretty slick. Engine doesn't sound brilliant just at the top of the rev range. It gets a little bit boomy, but it's smooth enough, and you can't argue with how quick it is. Honda's claims 5.7 seconds to 60 miles an hour. You can't get much quicker than that with the front driver, just because you end up limited by traction. But it grips very strongly, very capable mid-corner. The brakes are superb actually, and they do not run out even on a warm circuit on a warm day. But the questions remain, because this is a car that costs around £30,000 depending on what spec you put it in. Is it more fun than a Renault Megane Renault Sport Trophy? And is it more fun than a Volkswagen Golf R? The Renault is a bit more raucous and in your face, certainly more throttle adjustable than either. I think if I was going to have a car to drive 15,000 miles a year in, all on the road, you pick the Golf. I think it's the slickest, it's the most refined, it's the nicest to spend time in. But it's still very good fun. The Renault, if you were keener and you were going to drive on more track days, I'd probably pick the Renault. It leaves a Honda in a slightly delicate place. It's not as easy to live with as the Golf. It's not quite as rewarding and feelsome as the Renault. But you know what? There is room for that in this market. Honda has made a car that it wanted to make. Engine aside, the Type R character's intact. It's got lots of agility. It's got lots of grip. It's very fast. And if you just want to go fast, I suspect it is the quickest car in this class. And you know what? There's a lot to credit Honda for in that alone.